Gaurav, can you pass on the sharing privileges?
Right. Voice.
Okay, I'll have to just a moment. Has the file loaded?
I can't see it yet.
Okay, I think, yeah, I'll share the screen now. I hope now it is visible to all of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So before I start, I just wanted to, like, already Professor Pratima has introduced me, but I just wanted to emphasize that, like, a lot of you who have joined, who are engineering students right now, I was also in a similar position at a time not so long ago. So I was also doing my engineering, and then I got fascinated into the world of intellectual property due to my interest in technology, of course, law and policy, and other governance related issues. And that is how I landed up into the sphere of intellectual property. So this was just these are just a collection of the pictures of the institutions that I was there, and a photo from my organization interiors. So you will see it like this. So I will move on to the main agenda. So the purpose of this webinar is to give you a brief insight into the world of intellectual property and how it plays a part in our daily lives. And then Dr. Sheetal will present the option to build a career in this domain. Now, given that the first slide you have already seen, so I believe most of the viewers, they might be able to relate to it, that yeah, we are also in a similar position as I was there. So we'll be giving you the brief insights. We can't dive deep into, but with this we are just looking to give you some guidance. So now, what exactly is this buzzword called intellectual property? Now, the precise definition is that intellectual property is nothing but the creation of the mind. Now, I have said that they are nothing but the creations of the mind, but where all does this intellectual property exist, and what all does it comprise? I am pretty sure that a lot of you would be thinking in these lines as well. So, the like if I say in short again, intellectual property is there everywhere. You just cannot escape it anywhere. So where IP is there, these include art, pieces of art, literature, the books that you read, the novels that you read, even computer programs. This particular WebEx application, this also has intellectual property. Devices, our mobile phones, our laptops that we are using to access this event, symbols, like we have two symbols over here, Ericsson and SOCHM. Not just that, even for food and drinks, they are also covered by intellectual property. So as you can all get an idea now, intellectual property is existing everywhere. We just now have to recognize it. And once we are able to recognize it, then we can leverage this knowledge in order to build even a career in this domain. I'm sure a lot of you would think, okay, it exists all around us, But do we own any intellectual property? Well, the answer, it will be surprising to a few of you at least that every one of us does own intellectual property. So I'll elaborate on how exactly do all of us own intellectual property when I'll be explaining the intellectual property right called copyright. Now, coming to the use of intellectual property. You might, I think, given that the host institution is Cummins College of Engineering for Women at Pune, I thought I should take up a Pune-based example. So I'm pretty sure the ones from Pune and even all over India, they would be knowing that a chain called, not a chain, a standalone restaurant called Burger King used to exist. Now it is there in the name of burgers. So what had happened was that everyone, now at least every one of us knows that Burger King is a chain of restaurants that that gives us burgers and wraps and all. But at one point of time, a couple of people had started this outlet, and I have not been there myself, but I am told that it used to be really popular. So what had happened, not like a while back, was that the Burger King Corporation in USA, they filed a suit that they cannot be using our particular intellectual property. This particular intellectual property, that like these products and services are identified by, they are referred to as trademarks, about which I'll be explaining to you in the next few slides. So whether you are a student, whether you are owning a business, intellectual property is very important, and it is quintessential that everyone has adequate knowledge about it. So, yeah, so now you would be all wondering that what all types of intellectual property exist. So I've been using this word intellectual property. It's a very umbrella term. It comprises a lot of different types of IP. Now, what all are those types? One is the patent. So, patent is something that some of you might be familiar with, that it is granted for new inventions, which are basically either a new product or a new process. In order, if a new product, a process, pardon me, a new process to produce something or a new product in itself. Trademark, I just gave you the example of Burger King. So trademarks are any products or services, like the name of the institution itself has a trademark, that is Cummins the company. So everyone knows that that particular brand is associated with with products and devices such as engines for power generation, etc. Now coming to copyright. Now, what will surprise you is that each one of us are owning some or the other copyright. So, copyright exists in literary works, artistic works, and even the movies and sound recordings that we listen to, all of which comprise copyright. And the very interesting part about copyright is that you don't need to apply for it separately. As soon as you create that work, you automatically get it. Geographical indications are given to a community where, so for example, if I take another Maharashtra example, the Kolhapuri Chappal, or quite recently you would be hearing about the dispute for the GI of Rasagolla and Basmati rice. So because those products that are associated with a particular region, like you all might have heard about champagne, but what is the difference between champagne and sparkling water? Is that champagne is only that product that is produced from that region in France, it can be called as champagne. Industrial design. So I think a lot of electronics background people will be there. So the way the semiconductor layouts are designed, that also we have protection for. Industrial designs, like for example, even the locks that you use, if you use a Godrej lock, it's probably going to have a design registration number on it. So you have been exposed to the intellectual property protection and how it is displayed, even for the seeds that are planted by the farmers. So there is a plant variety protection for that. So it's a very, very expansive domain, and everyone can play a part in how do we get IP protection? I'll just move through this a bit quickly because we have already covered it. Patent is given for a new invention, that is a new product or process. You have to apply for it. It is examined by the government authority. Then you get the grant for it. When you get the grant, you can exclude others from using it. Copyright, as I have already mentioned, creative and artistic works, you get it automatically. You have the option to register it as well. Trademarks for products and services, you have to apply for it. There is an examination, but it is limited. Similarly, designs. Design is given for the appearance, and the same process is there. So now I'll just, before I move to the benefits of intellectual property, I'll just like to simplify intellectual property just in case it has become complex for all of you, for any of you rather. So just like if you own a property, if you own a piece of land or a flat, so if you own a piece of land, then you make a fencing around it. Similarly, to protect our intellectual property, we create a fencing around it in the form of, if it is a patent, so the patent grant document by the government, just like you have the land registration record. And now, when you have any property, ultimately you want to make revenue out of it or make money out of it. So, like if you owned a piece of land or a flat, you can give it for rent, which is what in intellectual property is referred to as licensing. And also you can assign your intellectual property to someone, which is similar to selling a piece of land or selling your flat. So this is a very simple definition of intellectual property and how all of us can relate to it. Now I'll just move on to the benefits of intellectual property. It boosts the creativity of not just industries but personal artists who are drawing different types of images. So all of them get copyright protection for it. Authors, when they write something, they get the protection. Companies have a boost for innovating because of intellectual property, because they know if they make something, it will be protected and they can make money, and then that money they can use to innovate again. Similarly, individuals can use it to generate revenue for themselves and innovate. So it overall leads to growth, not just economic, but even moral growth, because you all also will feel a sense of pride to own intellectual property. Now, before I move to concluding my presentation, I'll just give an insight of how IP is used and its strategic uses. It is being used as a strategy by organizations and individuals both. So if an organization, it can look for insights for entering into new technology domains. So suppose I'll just take the example of Cummins. They might be using some insights in the domain of electric mobility solutions in order to enter that domain. Now, AI is one of the common buzzwords that is around these days. Now, so AI has been used by the intellectual property analysts in order to, so AI basically mimics the human mind, and the IP analysts, they are, instead of AI using the human intelligence to mimic minds of, say, examiners like patent examiners to develop insights for organizations or themselves. And the IP is being crucially used to manage investment decisions. You'll see a lot of organizations now coming up with reports on the intellectual property existence in particular technology domains. So this is how it is strategically very important to be aware of IP regardless of being in this domain or not, because it's going to give you a lot of information. And as you all know, we are in an information age. So with this, I conclude my short talk on the influence and role of intellectual property in our everyday life. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aman. This has been absolutely fantastic presentation. I'm so happy that you accepted and to speak here with a lot of participants. Dr. Sunita, anything from your side? Else we just continue with the next presentation.
Hello, ma'am. I would just like to give a quick introduction of yourself.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for the first session. It was a very informative talk, and the audience surely is mesmerized getting acquainted to the IP world. We are honored to have Dr. Sheetal Chopra as the second speaker this afternoon. She is an industry professional with 2 decades of experience in public policy and government affairs. She is a registered Indian patent agent and an author of the book on intellectual property, 3rd edition, published by Notion Press. She is an avid speaker at national and international forums with extensive experience in the area of international trade, research and advocacy, policy development at domestic and international level. Dr. Chopra is a visiting faculty and trainer at various educational institutions and government forums, such as the All India Radio, the National Institute of IP Management, IIT, and so on. She is also an editorial board member, US China Law Review, David Publishing. She is a course coordinator for IPTSE, which is an intellectual property talent search examination, one of its kind, IP Olympiad. She has been instrumental in developing customized ebooks for students of IPTSE that is suitable across all disciplines. Ma'am, over to you to start the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I feel always very embarrassed when such introduction is given. I feel that there is a lot still to be achieved and a lot more to be done. But I'm so overwhelmed to be part of this session today. I should definitely thank all of you, especially Cummins College, for coming on board. Just so that those who don't know, Cummins College is one partnered college for IPTSE. They really came forward, signed an MOU, because I think this is one such college that truly understands the value of IP. And I think a lot really depends upon the teachers and faculties. You know, just like, a child always looks up to his parent, what he or she should do. I think in the academic space, students definitely look up to their teachers. And I'm so happy that, people such as Dr. Sunita and Dr. Pratima and so many relevant people are there on Indian soil, very passionate about intellectual property. And so it's like, wo kehte hain na ki, birds with same feather flock together. And that's why you see Aman also here, myself, and, it's like destiny, where destiny makes sure, universe connects like-minded people together. So I take it like that.
So much, ma'am. Now I'm overwhelmed.
No, this has come really straight from my heart, let me tell you.
So nice of you.
Yeah. So, this program, we thought we'll just keep it especially for Cummins College students, but then, we thought, why not leave it open for everyone? Let everyone get benefited out of it. And therefore, we are now playing it live on YouTube as well. Okay, let me just start. I'm not going to repeat. Someone already spoke. What intellectual property is and what can we do with it. He gave a very brief snapshot, but he also spoke about IPs all around us. And therefore, if you look at Apple brand, it is valued at $323 billion US. It's all because of IP. So you'll find less of maybe tangible assets like brick and mortar, and you will find more intellectual assets with them. when it comes to copyright, trademark, patents. Similarly, Michael Jackson, who we all know about for his absolutely fantastic stage shows, anti-gravity lean. He would never fall on the ground. It's because he invented a device along with his other partners, and he got a patent over it, and he earned a lot, as we all know. Then Microsoft has copyright over the sound, that immediately we open the laptop and we hear that particular sound, it's a copyright over it. No one can use without the permission. And similarly for Coca-Cola, and so many brands are there, out there, which have been able to make such big claim, all because of IP. In fact, there have been great set of examples, if I may say, where people have transformed themselves from rags to riches, and also riches to rags. It's primarily how they've been able to utilize intellectual property for the inclusive growth. Let us just quickly look at what is common across all of them, and chat window is already open for all of you. Please see, if you look at all these celebrities, is there something common that you find in all of them? I think if you just look at their faces and if you look at their LinkedIn profiles, you know them all. They all come from different walks of life. There is absolutely no connect between them. And if at all there is one connect, it's then intellectual property. How they used it. For example, Chetan Bhagat, no one of us knew him until the time Three Idiot movie came out. And he really voiced his concern about recognizing his book and how, director or producer took the entire storyline from his novel. Similarly, Sam Pitroda, and so many patents in his name, and he's considered to be the father and the one who actually brought telecom revolution on the earth, in India. And we've got Shiv Khera and, famous Javed Akhtar and so many others, all because of IP. It just didn't require them to have such big R&D centers. What it required them is the innovative and creative bent of mind, their passion for their work. And I think all of you, not only at Cummins College, but also those who are actually attending this webinar, I think since you are attending the webinar, it is first testimony in itself that you want to know about IP more, right? So I think you have passed that first test by attending this webinar. At least we don't have to convince you a lot why IP is important to be thought through. What all you need is just a bit more hand-holding so that you could come out to be the next gen IP creators and IP innovators. In fact, this slide also shows that inventors and creators have been able to get benefited out of IP, not only until their own lifetime, but beyond their life, their legal heirs. Look at, Michael Jackson or Elizabeth Taylor or Charles Schulz, all of them, even when they died, they continued, their legal heirs, their families continued to receive a lot in royalty. So I think this is something that at least encourages all of us to look at what IP is all about. And is there something that we have? Because ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि हमारे पास IP नहीं है. ऐसा भी नहीं हो सकता कि IP सिर्फ वही लोग create कर सकते हैं जो कि PhDs हैं या जिन्होंने बहुत पढ़ाई की है. I think everyone on the earth has got that brain, has got that creative bent. It just needs to be tailored and just needs to be, given a little bit more of hand holding to understand. अभी जो 3 साल का या 4 साल का भी जो बच्चा है ना, he or she is also innovating. In fact, there is a recent patent, and I'll get more details for all of you. It shows how such a young child was able to get patent in his own name. I mean, age is no bar. IP is age agnostic. IP is sector agnostic. IP is education agnostic. Anybody just can create. So what is IP? Aman has already spoken. It's an intangible asset. I won't go through this. Types of IP he has also already taken us through. Now let me just straight away jump into careers in IP industry. In fact, I felt so good when I got to know about a scientific report which came a few years ago, which said that those who are IP literate, those who have IP understanding, those who are in this IP domain are to earn much better and much higher salaries as against those who don't know IP at all. So this itself is a very big incentive for somebody to explore this domain, which is so interesting. In fact, as we move forward, when now India has Startup India, Stand Up India initiative, it has Digital India initiative. India wants India to be emerged as a safe destination hub for more IP investments, for more manufacturing to happen. Intellectual property is something which is a buzzword now. In fact, अगर आप ये देखें Startup India का definition by the current government, it talks about IP. It says that startups which are tech savvy, startups which are IP savvy. So government is making all its effort to put it into the every DNA, the genetic makeup of every citizen in the country. Okay, if you want to be entrepreneurial, think IP. Not only think IP, eat, speak, talk. I mean, it should become your blood. It should be in your blood. Then only you can really find that IP can not only be generated but also adequately protected, monetized for the welfare of nations. So there are a lot of job opportunities in IP industry. Gone are the days कि जब हम बैठ के अपने मम्मी पापा से पूछते थे अच्छा मैं इंजीनियर बनूं या डॉक्टर बनूं या मैं लॉयर ही बन जाऊं या मैं कोई टीचर बन जाऊं. It is no more about only that traditional thought process. Even if you're a doctor, even if you're a lawyer, even if you are none of these traditional, in any of these traditional professions, IP follows you. In fact, if you know about IP, you can actually make your existing careers much better. It's like wo jo star laga dete hain na, that golden dot gets added to your existing work. Just to give you an example, कुछ साल पहले when I was in one of the panel discussion, ये award ceremony हो रहा था IPTSC का. We were awarding winners. There was one doctor who apparently came and to just attend the lecture. It was not a lecture, but this award ceremony. And after the award ceremony was over, he came up to me and he said that, can I also get an award? I said, why not? Did you clear the exam? So he said, I want an award for my invention. I didn't, until the time I heard about this initiative, about this today's address, I wasn't even aware that he's innovating, he's creating. In fact, today when I speak with the doctor, he has got 2 patents in his name. He has got trademark, and he's actually not only treating patients, but he has opened up his own startup. Just imagine, I mean, what a kind of opportunity got opened up for him. So anyway, I got sometimes swayed away with my own emotions when I start talking about IP. But let me just focus on today's presentation. So when you talk about IP industry and the job opportunities, there are several of those. It could be in the searching, it could be report preparation, it could be patent drafting, it could also be in the trademark, prosecution, litigation, opposition, so many. And I'm just gonna take you very quickly through what kind of background does one need if you wish to become the ones which are listed here, like the job titles. जैसे कि आप IP attorney भी बन सकते हो, and what you need for you to become an IP attorney is the law LLB degree with you, plus some PG diploma in IPR or any sort of certification. But since I'm talking to Cummins College and the students over there, and also a lot of people outside of this college, if you don't have a law degree, doesn't matter. Because there are so many other opportunities available. For example, you could be an IP professor, just like Dr. Sunita is. You could also be an IP blogger. There are so many IP blogs now available. Now you can see them, find them much bigger in name now. In fact, they publish a lot of information. So अगर आप में वो knack है ना लिखने का, अगर आप में वो knack है ज़्यादा reading का, connect करने का लोगों के साथ, if you are a networking person, then IP blogger is one very good opportunity for all of you. You could as well be a patent agent, और उसके लिए what you need is the basic science degree. For example, if I talk about Aman, when he did his IIT Kharagpur program from RGIOPL, the 3-year intensive one, it required him to have a science background, the technology or an engineering background. So anybody like him who has got that science tech background can qualify Indian IP examination, patent agent examination, which is organized by the Indian Patent Office. You get a certificate, और जब आपको वो certificate मिल जाता है, then you are eligible to be called as patent agent. And a patent agent actually does a lot of work for his clients. He works with the patent office. He doesn't work with the patent office, but he communicates with the patent office and helps his client to get his IP protected when it comes to patents. Similarly, IP auditor and valuator. Let me just explain you what all these about very briefly. Like I already mentioned to you about IP attorney. Who IP attorney is, as I've already stated, he is the one who litigates the matter in the court. Not only litigates, but also prosecutes. So for example, if today you have an IP with you, you realize that, acha, mere paas ek IP hai, I'm a book author, I can write books. In fact, I may have written the book. Yeah, ma'am, I can create very nice songs. I can be very good, in terms of making films or some technological invention. Then you would have to look forward to IP attorney, or somebody else who has done it would want inputs from IP attorney who could help him find out in which particular domain can that particular IP be protected. You could be one of those. Why not? I mean, it is such a deadly and it's such a synergistic combination. If you are a science or a tech background with engineering, maybe if you're an engineer or science or tech, as I said, plus an LLB, so it's a very good synergistic combination. क्योंकि एक जो इंजीनियर होता है, he or she is able to better understand the invention as against who is not having that tech background. अब आज अगर आप एक IP, in fact, this is such a important thing to note कि even as a student, when you innovate and you're talking to an IP attorney, ask him what your qualification is. Is he an engineer? If your invention is from the engineering background, it is better to speak with an IP attorney who has that relevant background. So that is one of the areas that you could look at. IP paralegal is another. I think this is primarily one for the ones who have backgrounds such as psychology or arts background or commerce background. They can be in the IP paralegal as well. It's primarily the office work that they do. If they track the timelines, they help in filing all the office work, file work, etc. But their work is very important because they are the ones who are completely keeping the track. There are also IP licensing managers. This is again something extremely important. क्योंकि IP सिर्फ papers पे, it's like a paper tiger. If you can commercialize it, that's the only best way to feel importance of IP. क्योंकि अगर आप commercialize नहीं कर पा रहे हो, license नहीं कर पा रहे हो, franchising नहीं कर पा रहे हो, then you cannot earn out of it because you need to get remunerated for your work, right? And therefore, industry or the KPOs. In fact, there are a lot of people in the banking sector, law firms who are looking for the IP licensing managers who can help in finding out who could be the potential licensees, who could be the potential buyers for your technology. And therefore, people need them. You could be one of those for sure. IP auditors and IP valuators. इनका जो काम होता है ना IP valuators का या auditors का, इनका काम licensing manager से पहले आता है. They have to first audit the IP, consider the entire IP portfolio that a corporate, let's say, has or a startup has or anybody has. They look at the value. कि उसका value market में कितना है. How much would the market be happy to pay for that technology? So this IP auditor and valuator does all that job. Again, you could be one of those and help the corporates understand that this is the worth of your IP. So अगर suppose आपको लगता है 100 रुपया उसकी market value है, but the IP auditors along with their chartered accountants, along with the licensing manager can actually come up with the right price. And so therefore it is a very good opportunity. In fact, हमारी country में globally also there is quite a lot of dearth about IP auditors and IP valuators. Usually you will find knowledge thought leaders such as KPMG, Grant Thornton or PwC. They are kind of doing auditing, but country needs, or at least world needs, people who are skilled and certified IP auditors and valuators. Um, then IP faculty, you all know, this is where you can be a teacher. IP bloggers, we have already discussed. I think what gives me immense pleasure in telling is that IP does not restrict you. IP does not confine you to what you already are. You can actually spread your wings. It's like you can be an octopus. You can have 8 legs together, and each leg doing different work. One leg could be an IP blogger, another leg could be an IP faculty, third leg could be an IP innovator themselves, fourth could be IP licensing manager, and so many of those. I mean, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आप IP domain में और आप एक ही बन के रह गए, unless you wish to. Then it's purely your choice. But you can actually try to be a cosmopolitan. You can be in each of this without any barriers. So, for example, if I have to pick one example, okay, let me take my example then. I work with a corporate as a IPR policy person, but I also teach at different universities as their guest faculty. Similarly, I also write a lot of books or any journal articles. Similarly, I'm sure that you'll find persons similar to me who will be having similar such profile. तो मैं सिर्फ इतना ये कहना चाह रही हूँ आपको कि आप जब इंजीनियर बन के निकलो या आप पूरा अपना ग्रेजुएशन पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करके निकलो and you enter into a domain of IP, don't think specific. Don't think कि मुझे trademark में ही जाना है, मुझे patent में ही जाना है, या मुझे एक ही particular profession चाहिए. Because आजकल जिस तरह से COVID times है, it has thrown us to a completely different setup. You can actually be entrepreneurial. You can have your own startup and be in IP for sure. So, and there are a lot of IP blogs. Like there is one question that I could see in the chat window about what are the good IP blogs available. There is one called as Kidon IP, which gives you global IP updates. There is Spicy IP, which gives you Indian updates on the IP. Then there are IP Cat, that also gives you a lot of information. In fact, there are plethora of those. I'll be happy to send the information to Dr. Sunita to Cummins College, and you can look at it. And for those who are not from Cummins College, we can revert to you through email. But you can start reading about intellectual property. You know, you'll find those blogs to be absolutely fantastic, and you could actually apply to any of those blogs to be their writer, to be the person over there who writes on different topics. In fact, IPTSC, Intellectual Property Talent Search Exam, which we call as an IP Olympiad, it's a proctored exam. If you look at the website of IPTSC, there is an IP blog. If any one of you who is happy, who wishes to write for an IP blog of IPTSC, please do write to us. We'll be more than happy to consider your request. It's only that what it requires is reading. आप में अगर वो कीड़ा है ना पढ़ने का, और अगर आप में वो कीड़ा है लिखने का, so I think nobody can stop you, and you can emerge as a very good writer. In fact, IPTSC is also looking for a lot of people who can help us create good, in fact, can further the curriculum, you know, who can make certain write-ups, who can prepare presentations. If any of you is interested, please again do write to us. We'll definitely be happy to consider. I think that may give you a window to enter into this area or this domain. Then IP researchers is another who does the entire market analysis. Let me just give you one example. अब suppose कीजिए कि एक corporate है, उसको ये देखना है कि IP landscape क्या है, you know, who all is working in a particular domain in which their R&D scientists are working. If they want to understand what is the market analysis, what is market using in terms of product. So all that is a work of an IP researcher. He is the one who goes through the entire prior art. He's the one who undergoes the entire patent and IP landscaping and gives it back for the companies to look into the white spaces where they can work even better. IP mentors is another area. Of course, once you have a good experience in the field of IP, you could be IP mentors. and they are primarily the ones who mentor startups, who mentors people who need help in the field of IP, protecting IP, enforcing IP. In fact, patent office की site पे अगर आप जाएंगे, you will find a lot of IP mentors listed over there, who who actually registered with themselves with the IP office, and they assist free of cost to different startups in filing and protecting their patents. So that's one area that one can look at, advise clients. They can work with universities to educate students. They can help universities in establishing IP cells, have their customized IP policy, and so many things that IP mentors can do. There is another which is called as IP event managers. They are the ones who generally work in the Chamber of Commerce, such as ASSOCHAM, FICCI, CII, NASSCOM, PhD, Chamber of Commerce, AmCham, USIDC. So these are the ones who really work in these Chamber of Commerce and help organize such IP programs. They could be lawyers, they could be non-lawyers, they could be engineers, they could be the ones who have arts background but have a passion for IP. So if they have a basic understanding, and if they are networking people, if they are outgoing people, they are the ones who can pick up this job opportunity as well. So patent agent we have already spoken about. He's the one who has got an engineering degree and has qualified the exam, which is organized by the Indian Patent Office. One could be a patent proofreader. This is another very interesting area to explore. These are the ones who proofreads the patent. They look for the grammatical mistakes. They look for the compliance, because a patent has to be drafted in a form which is admissible by the Indian Patent Office. So they finalize the entire content. The content may have come from the inventors, the legal people, but patent proofreader finally puts it into a format that is acceptable. Then patent analysts and patent searchers are the ones who have got a good understanding of various databases on which they can do IP or patent landscaping. There are paid, non-paid databases, and it doesn't require you any certification course to become one. All it requires is the experience. If you have an experience with a law firm, with a corporate, आपने थोड़ा सा भी अगर patent search किया है, and you have done it quite exhaustively, and you have attended some lectures, and if you can prove that you can be a good searcher, I think that's where you can get one first opportunity, and thereafter one can continue to progress. Patent docketing is another area which is primarily they are the ones. I don't think it is meant really for the engineers such as you or people who have got science background or technology background. This patent docketing is primarily for those who have a basic education from a very general stream. They don't need to be IP lawyers. They are the people who have, even if somebody is from English honors or maths honors, can be in this can be in this area. Generally, IP firms employ docketing specialists, and even corporates employ them. Those who are not outsourcing their IP works to the outside lawyers. There are a lot of other IP professions that one can look at, patent engineers as well, and so many others. But there are a lot of recruiters. I mean, you may ask कि आपने इतना सारा तो बता दिया कि हम सब ये बन सकते हैं, but हमें लेगा कौन? तो लेने वाले बहुत हैं. Depends how much passionate are you and what you can do for that organization. If you are a outgoing person, if you have very good passion about IP, if you have got some basic understanding, so that is the only thing that you require. Plus, you know, the relevant educational qualification. There are a lot of recruiters, for example, IP law firms, corporate offices, R&D labs, government organizations, then you know the international organizations such as World Trade Organization. WIPO is another, World Intellectual Property Office. A lot of SMEs need such professionals. Indian companies, for example, or for that matter, Indian registered companies or multinational companies, all of them need IP professionals. Not only this, I have not written it, I just missed it out. Even the media entertainment industry, the film, music industry, um, your newspaper industry, the social media people, whether it's Netflix or Google, Facebook, everyone needs IP professionals. And this is what, I just wanted to give you a basic background. This is the screenshot that myself and I believe Aman prepared almost a year ago, 3 years ago. But this is just to capture key if you are from a science background, medicine, dentistry, pharmacy sciences, then patent, trademark, copyright, and designs are the key ones for you to know. If you are from humanities background or commerce, so it's a combination of so many things. You can look at it at your later convenience. But let me just quickly take you through what IPTSC is all about. Now that we've just left with 5 minutes, and then we should open up the floor for any questions that you may have. And I definitely encourage you to ask more and more questions, please. Huh? It gives us a good feel factor that you heard us, and हम लोग बहुत मेहनत करके, we could arrange this webinar for you, and it takes a lot of effort, believe you me. So about IPTSC, this is an intellectual property talent search examination, the first of its kind in India. It's a proctored examination, a very intensive one, where there are 6 categories under which people can register. It is from fashion and designing to lawyers, non-lawyers with specialization in IP. Then researchers can register separately. So there are 6 categories under which one can enroll. And once you go to the IPTSC website, you'll learn a lot more. In fact, the concept of IPTSC was to test the knowledge of individuals. क्योंकि आप एक webinar करके आपको एक certificate जरूर मिल जाएगा, लेकिन आपकी testing नहीं होगी. You cannot go out in the world and say that I am the one who has got a good understanding. So IPTSC was developed with that intent, and we as Ericsson found that this is an interesting concept and supported it. SOCHAM also came as an organizer, so we found this to be very good. To test the knowledge, a certificate is given which you can show to the world and say that, okay, I have taken the test, it was proctored, because there are very less chances. In fact, I have to say less chances, I can't say no chances, because it's a proctored one and you have to be really diligent. Cheating is not permissible, cannot be done. So this is about IPTSC. I just want to take you through a very small video. Just give me a second, if it plays, hopefully. Okay, so this was about IPTSC, and this I have already mentioned. So we've already closed the registration for the 3rd edition. 4th edition will open up from 1st July. But specifically for those who are attending today's lecture, especially for Cummins College, we have opened up the registration just for you all for another 2 days. And here is the link. I'm sure your professor will share it with you as well. And that is it. I think we are done with it. And we'd love to hear more from you and maybe see the chat window. Dr. Sunita, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Let's see if my students ask you something.
Yeah, so I think the first one is for Aman. So your views on Durga Coffee Shop in Pune. This isn't a case though. He's just talking about some trademark infringement case.
Yeah. So I think just
Can they unmute and ask directly?
Yes, they should be able to. Gaurav, can you unmute the person? Her name is Priyanka.
Just a second, ma'am.
There are a few more questions coming in the
Yes.
chat window.
Yes. Okay, so if you can't do it, Gaurav, मुझे बताइए आप कर पा रहे हो इसको unmute ये वाला?
Ma'am, it
और-
won't be possible in between the session as they are from the attendee link.
अच्छा तो नहीं हो सकता ना? It can't happen, right? Is what you're saying.
Right, right.
Okay, no problem. Then Priyanka will just read out your question for Aman. So, Aman, this is about Durga Coffee Shop trademark infringement. Are you aware of this?
not exactly, but
Okay.
yeah. So the simple case in a trademark infringement is that there are a lot of well-known marks. So like in the Burger King case, it was that everyone knows that it is a well-known mark. So you are not supposed to be looking to take advantage of someone else's reputation. Now, the Durga coffee shop case, I have not looked into this, but you can reach out to me on any of the platforms, LinkedIn, or I can even send across my email ID and I'll get back to you on this.
If I'm not wrong, if I know something about it, is like Durga Cafe is a very famous cafe shop here in Pune, and there are few branches of their own, and but there is a fashion that many coffee shops they give their name as Durga Cafe, and so we need to understand whether this is the original Durga Cafe or is it just the name. So I think that must be the question.
Yeah, so the crucial point in this case becomes that you must register your trademark. So whenever you are opening a company, you are opening a shop, along with that, you should file the trademark application for that. And another advantage that we have is that you can even file a trademark for a business that you are going to start in the future. So even in the case of Burger King, they had filed a trademark application in 1979 in India, but they entered into operations much later. Similarly, if you are planning to open a coffee shop or any outlet or any company, do register the trademark of that, because if in the future you become really successful, then you will have it will be easier for you to ensure that your branding is not compromised.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Thanks. Then there is another question by Aryan Chatterjee. What are some effective ways small startups can use to protect their intellectual property rights against much bigger corporations? Right. So this is a very interesting question. In fact, you wouldn't be surprised to know that there are some startups who have actually filed case against some big multinationals or corporates for the misuse of their intellectual property. And there have been cases even other way around where multinationals may have sued startups for the misuse of IP that actually belong to the corporate. So the effective ways, in fact, the effective ways is this, that first of all, you need to be careful that who are you talking to when you are disclosing your intellectual property. As a startup, you may have come up with an IP, you are fully confident that this is the way to go. And sometimes क्या होता है कि startups, out of their passion, out of their what do you say, anxiety, they start talking to so many people. without having a proper non-disclosure agreement between them and the company. Know your competitors, know your prospective buyers, know your partners, know who are you're gonna marry in this field of IP, and then disclose your intellectual property with much stronger annotation that you need to have an NDA in place. Ask the other gentleman, tell him or her that you've got IP protections adequately done. So it is all about you being much aware of your IP before you start to discuss about it. Dr. Sunita, any inputs from your side on this particular topic?
Yeah, absolutely agreed. It's very important to, be careful and startups and this thing. I mean, everyone has to be very careful while even writing patents and all. I always tell this to my students that you cannot get patent for everything. We need to be careful that what is your contribution, and that part only you will have to claim for.
Yes.
And
yes,
as I said at the
absolutely.
very beginning also, that IPR is not just protecting and owning your own intellectual property, but it is also respecting others' property. So,
Absolutely.
so that
Very well
awareness
said.
is a must nowadays when you have globalization and when we have, as I said, cross-border businesses. This has become very important to understand and respect each other's intellectual property.
Absolutely. Aman, any input from you? You belong to a big multinational and startup. What do you think they should be doing to safeguard their IP?
Yeah, so the government of India has actually got out a lot of schemes for startups they can file the patents at the Indian Patent Office for a much reduced fee. And once they are having and also they have the benefit of having expedited examination. So, and for the big corporations, unfortunately, the startups may end up getting patents granted much quickly. So they will have the foundation in order to defend themselves against all the big players. Like even for universities, as it was stressed upon by Professor Sunita, Caltech has been able to enforce patents against giants like Apple and Broadcom and got almost $1 billion in damages. So once you once you protect your rights, you will be able to enforce it and get revenue from it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, that is absolutely must. In fact, there have been changing patent rules and they all continue. Government is trying its level best to come up with such initiatives which can incentivize startups. So then there is a next question by Aryan Chatterjee. What are some, okay, this is already answered. Then Purva is asking about if the presentation could be shared. Yes, we'll be happy to give it to Dr. Sunita and she can share it with the students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Akshat is asking, thank you. Akshat is asking, it shows that participants are not allowed to unmute. Okay. Tanmay is asking, what is an office memorandum? I wouldn't know, Aman, if you or Dr. Sunita knows. Is it related to IP more specifically? Not sure.
So I'll just answer that. So it's not related to IP, but in general, governments, they take out office memorandums. I'm pretty sure the faculty might relate to it. So the Ministry of Finance's Department of Expenditure, they can bring out office memorandums to explain all the rules and new positions of the government.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Aman. So next question is from, but I'm so happy that, everybody is writing, putting it in chat box. I am extremely happy. Otherwise, वो इतना boring हो जाता है ना कि when you don't get an interaction, you then end up going back home कि ठीक भी पढ़ाया कि नहीं पढ़ाया. So thanks everyone for making us give that feel good factor. Nikhil is asking, can AI be used? Where is it? Can AI be used for IP in biotechnology? Considering the lines of general IPRs are very blurred in biotech. Of course, AI, artificial intelligence, is not is not confined to any particular sector. It is overarching. It has, it touches upon every sector. AI is much used in pharmaceutical, in biotechnology, nanotechnology, because in R&D areas, you need artificial intelligence to help support scientists. So, but I would rather ask Aman and Dr. Sunita any comments on this.
Yeah. So I would just like to point out that very recently, the Postgraduate Institute of Medical Research in Chandigarh, they have come out with a study to study the impact of this very popular drug to fight against COVID, ivermectin. So they have used AI and machine learning models in order to develop this research. So AI and IP and biotech also have a great intersection, and there are a lot of people who work in the domain of bioinformatics. So yes, the lines are not exactly blurred, but there is a lot of intersection of AI, IP, and biotech.
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Sunita, anything from your side?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the field. I'm not working in the field of biotechnology, but AI, I can surely tell there is a big disputes or discussions going on whether AI-based systems are patentable or not, and if the patent has to be given, to whom it has to be given. If a machine is learning by itself and doing something by its own, using its own intelligence, so to whom to give the patent? So I was reading about it a lot, and what I understood from the discussion of many people in this area is the creator of that machine, which actually performs some intellectual task, the creator is finally that human being who has created that machine. And people are of maximum opinion that the creator of that machine, the artificial intelligent machine, has to be given the IP rights. So that I can add over here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And artificial intelligence is such a interesting area to also explore, because there are discussions at a policy level going on. Who should be the right mentor? Is this the AI machine? Because once you have created an AI machine, it's the machine that is doing the entire work of output and algorithms and giving the entire set of product. So should it be AI machine? Then the question is, if you give authorship or inventorship to AI machine, if tomorrow there is something wrong, would you put that AI machine to the jail, and will it be of any effect? So, and AI is not a legal person that you can actually slap or ask AI machine to pay damages. Can't happen. But then the question also remains, if a person is given a chance to be an inventor because he's the one who created, but what if AI machine gives out something absolutely abrupt, not good for the society? Why should that person then be penalized? So there are a lot of questions. So it's an interesting one to explore, and I would rather encourage Cummins College students to write something on AI, give it to us. We'll be more than happy after approvals, after audit, to put it as a course curriculum. Why not for IPTSC? So you'll gain your authorship. So do come forward. It's an interesting area.
Good suggestion. Good
Yeah.
suggestion.
Another is Priyanka's question. Fact of the case, the original coffee shop never registered his trademark. His employees stole his recipes and even the brand name, with a change only in the color of the trademark green color to a lighter tone, and the chain of second version of Durga. Of course, yes, this is what happens, and that is where you, as an inventor, as an author, as a creator, has to be um, very clear about and keep a check who is doing what. But I think given that there are better chances of learning about IP, there are getting to be better chances to enforce it. Police is now being trained and so many other things are happening. So yes, I think this question was already being answered. Then there is a question from Abhishek. What are your views about the traditional case of Indian turmeric and neem? Yes, it's a good question. It's all about the traditional knowledge. India has been very vocal about the stealing of India's traditional knowledge, and there were civil societies, there were NGOs who raised voice against it, and they were able to stop grant of patents related to turmeric and neem in other parts of the country, in other parts of the world. In fact, it's not only confined to this, but also basmati rice and the entire lines. There were a lot of issues over there. So yes, it's about traditional knowledge. And traditional knowledge is itself a big domain of IP, where kids and students should have knowledge about. Then there is another question from Tanima. Can a BSc medical biotech student give patent agent exam? Aman, go ahead.
Yes, you can give it. As long as you are from science background, you can give the exam.
Yes. So for a patent agent examination, the key is that you have to be science, tech, or engineering background, which you are already. Go through, for example, right now there is no patent agent exam happening, I think because of COVID, but soon there will be. So early, the better. Start preparing for it. If you have any issues, please come back to us and take any help. Then, okay, so Priyanka.
Can I add something over
Yes,
here?
yes, please.
Yeah, what I read about is even the final year students in any of these degree courses can also appear for.
Yes, absolutely. So there is another question by Priyanka. She has clarified that an office memorandum is a document released by proper authority stating government's policy or decision. Yes, absolutely. That's what Aman also spoke. Then I think it's already 5:15. Let's take another 2-3 more questions. Purushottam Vijay is writing, what are the career opportunities in geographical indications? Aman, do you want to take this?
Yeah, so one can become a facilitator for the communities in order to get this protection. There are a lot of academicians who are taking up these initiatives.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think, yeah, thanks.
Go ahead.
I think this question I feel is very important. Arushi has asked, can you please tell us more about IPTSC exam and its benefits?
Yeah.
So I had requested all my students and their queries while they were registering that how to get the syllabus, what is the syllabus, and so on. How is the exam pattern and so on. So I suggested all of them to wait for your lecture today. And so they might be asking those questions to you, rather they must be expecting that we'll talk more on IPTSC.
Sure. So I'll just give you a brief background a bit more. So if you look at the IPTSC website, it's an IP Olympiad, and there is a course curriculum. There are two sorts of course curriculum, one for school and other for universities. You have to go and click universities. And at the time of registration, it will ask you, which sector do you belong to? Are you a lawyer with an IP specialization, or are you a researcher? You have to pick and choose researcher, because researcher is the one which covers broadly the engineer. Okay, no, so there are two levels. One is researcher, either you can join as a researcher or engineering and technology. So for you, for Cummins College student, it will be tech and engineering that you should click. And then there is a course curriculum which we have designed. So there are two booklets that you will get immediately after you register. Not immediately, within 48 hours, and we'll try to make sure that you get the course booklets quickly. So these course booklets talk about all 5 type of IP in a very animated form. Read those two booklets. Plus, on the website, under the course curriculum, when you click on the university, it will give you the entire course links as to which all websites you should have gone through. Besides these two booklets, there are specific links and the websites provided. Go through those. And then when the examination happens, for third edition will take place from 1st to 20th March, which means you've got 20 days. Plus, if you register today, you have got 4 more days for this month. So even if you take the exam on the last day, which is 20th March, you've got these good amount of time, almost 2 to 3 weeks to prepare for it, and then take the exam. If you qualify this time, very good. If you are not, still it's a good chance that you would have gone through the set of questions for preparing for the next exam even better. So it's a multiple choice questions. For 60 minutes, there'll be almost 60 questions asked. You will not be allowed to go back to the window. So if you have skipped one question, you cannot go back to that, because usually people pirate, they just click on the question paper and then they look at back to the same question and try to respond. And therefore, we have made it a proctored examination. So be very careful once you respond. If you don't respond, you are taken to the next page anyway. So, but as far as course curriculum is concerned, it is pretty nice. It is pretty easy. Questions have been tailor-made and designed, keeping in mind who are the prospective takers, because we all know that you are not the experts, and hence it is just to test the basic understanding. So go through that. And if you have any issues, you can write to us at inquiry@iptse.com. And I'm sure that Dr. Sunita would share with you the registration link. I've already shared it with all of you. I'm just pasting it again. So yeah, that's where we are. If there are any other questions, please do ask. Can Faculty of Engineering College give the exam IPTSE? Yes. So you can join as an individual. It will ask you if you are from a university as a professor or you are an individual. Click on individual if you are a professor or a faculty, and you can take the exam as well. And then I think
This
that
question
is,
I feel is interesting. Can the NPTEL exam certificate will be considered equivalent to IPTSE? So is there any similarity or difference, or which one is good or something like that between IPTSE exam and NPTEL exams?
Yes. So I'll just say that NPTEL is primarily, so it is funded by the MHRD, and it is the government's work from that side. In IPTSE, there is a complete bifurcation with regard to who you are. I'm not sure much about NPTEL, but I think it's a very generic exam for everyone, whether you're a lawyer or anybody else. I'm not too sure if it gives you that kind of a difference. But IPTSE is primarily made by the industry professionals. You know, it is a tailor-made one, specifically designed for different set of individuals. I think I would rather encourage you to once go through it. And if you've already taken NPTEL exam, you'll find the difference between this and the IPTSE. In fact, those who take IPTSE exam, we also offer them internship opportunities, and also an opportunity to come to the experience center or the studio, so that you get to know industry very closely. So that is how it goes. But we can come back to you with a key difference between the two. But I think there is nothing can overtake one over the other. Both have their own significance, and you can just pick basis your wish list.
Thanks.
Yeah. So any other questions that we have on the IPTSE? Not sure.
No.
Right. So, well, I think we can close the session. There are questions, Dr. Sunita. I'm so happy. I think students need much more and many more such webinars. We'll be happy to keep coming back.
Yes.
But the course curriculum that you will read in IPTSE and the curriculum that we have posted over there, I think this will also help you learn. All the webinars, the video link are available on the YouTube channel, even on the website. There are lots of presentations we have put on that as well. Today's presentation also I will put. It is about trademark, geographical indications, trade secrets, everything much in detailed format. You can go and see those see that website and look at those presentations, and keep sending your questions. But I think we should be closing now. I know we have it's 5:23, unless there are some last minute comments from you, Dr. Sunita and Aman.
Maybe Mr. Aman first.
Yes.
I would like to thank Dr. Sheetal as well as Cummins College of Engineering, and most of all the participants who have really taken part very with a lot of encouragement and motivation in this webinar. And we would hope to be engaged in such IP awareness activities in the future as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Believe me, it's really our pleasure to host this seminar on the role of IP in our daily lives and in career building. I can certainly now say that our students and today's all attendees are fortunate to listen about all the aspects of this topic from such enthusiastic speakers like Dr. Sheetal ma'am and Mr. Aman Sinha. It was really amazing to know that there are so many opportunities to work in this field of IP. I also got to feel like I should restart my career and work in the field areas as mentioned by you. I'm sure students must have been inspired by your informative talk and will surely take IP as a career option. If my students need any help or if I need any help in this regard, I'll surely talk to you, ma'am.
Sure.
So-
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. But so on behalf of now formally from Cummins, on behalf of Cummins College of Engineering for Women Pune, I take this opportunity to really thank our today's speakers, Dr. Sheetal and Mr. Aman, for accepting our invitation and conducting this session for our students. I would also like to thank all the participants for attending this seminar enthusiastically and asking so many questions and making Sheetal ma'am so happy for your questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
All-
Last but not least, I would also like to thank Pratima and all my colleagues there in Cummins and my director, Dr. Kambete ma'am, for always supporting me, encouraging me, and working in this field of my interest, IPR.
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you
all.
so much. Thank you so much. And I'm very happy that we all could get together here. Just a last point that I should definitely mention about NPTEL exam. I don't think it is specific to IP, right? IPTSE is more specific only to intellectual property talent search exam. So I think that's one of the key difference. But I love this session, especially it's Friday. Now I can go back and take rest. That the week has closed
Yes.
with a very, very good note in the
So
midst of
as-
all of you. So
but with your major only, that if you go home and think about this, you feel like whether I taught it properly or not. So now you can
Yeah.
today ensure yourself that you taught in such a beautiful way that not only you, I'm sure my WhatsApp must have been flooded with lots of questions. So thanks
thank
to
you so much.
and thank you, Mr. Aman, for giving the fundamental introduction about IP and how IP is there everywhere. I liked your examples.
Yes, absolutely. He
Thank
made
you.
it go live for all of us. Thanks. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
I would
Thank
like
you
to
so
also
much.
thank Asocham and Mr.
Yes.
Gaurav for giving this back-end support all the time.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. He has been fantastic. The very morning he said, Madam, no yet registration. I said, don't worry, everything will be done. And he has successfully done it. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye,
You
everyone.
too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a
Bye.
nice weekend.
Same to you. Bye.
Thank you, Gaurav, for the very well coordinated show that you have done.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gaurav.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, Gaurav. Bye. Bye.